All right, so um, I am going to be splicing a little fable into this little video here, and bear in mind that what you're going to see, I can't describe how difficult it was to keep a straight face. It was, I'm not going to say impossible, because I pulled it off. But what I will say is it was extremely difficult. I don't know how I pulled it off. All I know is I pulled it off. Any of y'all ever done that? Where you pulled something off, but you just don't know how? In the sense that, how do I put it? In the sense that you do something so well that you look back and go, oh my god, that was so difficult. I don't even know how I was able to keep the composure I did. Well, this video you're going to be seeing on this morning is definitely, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that kind of video. All right. It took incredible amounts of self-control not to die laughing through the little fable. And then at the end of it, I kind of go off on a little rant, but for a good reason. I really feel that our children deserve better. Better than what our tyrant government can provide them. Don't you dare try to accuse me of not knowing what I'm talking about. All right? Our tyrant government was created with a constitution that was designed to restrain it. They wipe their ass with it, and they wipe their butts, they wipe their butts, and they wipe their butts with it. And honestly, this is not exactly a kid-friendly channel, but I do my best to keep it that way. Alright? I'd rather look at a horse's butt all day than look at all these political posts on Facebook. And look at this, and look at that. We all know Epstein didn't kill himself. We all know that 80% of the basis of these wars are greed. And those who don't know and understand that, let me explain it to you this way. I know far more than what I'm allowed to tell you about the military and the government and all that stuff. I'm not going to claim to be a secret agent or any of that crap. But what I am going to tell you is that it's all about greed. It's 80% about greed. Do I feel our military needs to be highest paid? The biggest expense when the military guys at the end of the day get federal minimum wage? Barely. All right, now let's just continue on here with this little thing, all right? I get such little income every month. I'm not a military man. Let me make that clear. I'm not. But I'm going to make this clear. Clear as day. Am I for someone stomping on the flag? Don't get me wrong. I'm not for it. But I'm not exactly against it. But in general, understand this. I'm more for it than I am against it. Okay? Y'all get all uptight when the president goes to his own personal golf course. To his own golf course. To take a day and relax. Do you people have any idea what it takes to be a president? Do you have any idea what it takes to run a country without running it into the ground and without destroying it? It takes more guts, more knowledge, more courage than any of you sacks of garbage on your mother's couch, in your mother's basement, smoking a bowl of the Chronic, or whatever you want to call it. The whole point is, if you are 30 and still living in your mother's basement on her dime, you're the problem with America. I'm not going to go on a bunch of tirades here, but I'm putting it this way. There is no excuse whatsoever for what this country has become. All right, baby boomers, a lot of them have been on drugs, most of them legal, since the 60s. Right? The brains are halfway rotted out. They're halfway falling out, damn near literally. And, California Air Regulation Board. So heavily regulated California that the Department of Natural Resources was not able to do their job in California. A very large chunk of California burned in the year 2019. Burned to the ground. We're talking trees, we're talking plants, bushes, animals. Burned. If the EPA follows suit with CARB, California Air Regulation Board, CARB for short, if the Environmental Protection Agency follows CARB, the frickin' United States is going to be super in trouble. We need to pump the brakes. Caterpillar has already pulled the plug a decade ago on highway diesel engine production. They're still cranking out parts for them. They're still servicing them, but they're not building any diesel engines for highway use any longer. They haven't for 10 years because of CARB and EPA following CARB like a lost puppy dog. All right, now, this little fable coming up here. Please understand it and take it for what it is. It is absolutely disgusting to me to see all these politicians be bashing and bad-mouthing and being ridiculous and lying and all this stuff. And, adults can't even act like civil human beings around a president when the president goes to a football game. Are you freaking kidding me? Seriously, are you kidding me? Adults expect kids to act civil. Yet the adults can't even act civil. That is a problem. That is a huge issue. It's not just the state of Washington. It's not just Oregon. It's not just California. It's the entire freaking East Coast. It's Texas. It's virtually anywhere you go. People treat people like turds. We cannot continue to do this stuff. It is not going to work very well. Let me explain it a little further and a little more in depth here. There is no way, I repeat, there is no way that America will ever be top dog again if we don't start fighting our way back to top dog. Our government ain't going to do it. Our government is already allowing its own citizens to be slaves. The reason ELDs became mandate across the board, and I'm actually very for it now. Yes, initially there were a lot of problems and a lot of issues and a lot of glitches. Now, let me explain this. In the simulator, I do run ELDs. I do. And quite frankly, it's awesome. There's no way the employer can cheat me on it in that simulator. And I do dispute it at a time, every once in a while when they go, oh, well, it was damaged and this and that. It's like, no, it was already damaged when it came into, when it was on, before it ever touched my trailer. And then they damaged it further when they loaded it on my trailer. Furthermore, I spent 4 hours getting the load placed on the trailer and another 2 hours chaining it down. That's the world of heavy haul for you. You get a good workout, but anyways, of course, it's all simulated in a game, if you will. But I don't treat it like it's a game. I treat it like it's the actual simulate, like it's actual real world, for a lot of reasons. All right, I'm one of the head of my virtual trucking company. I am the head of it, and I can tell you right now that there honestly are very few employees that ever have any issues with me. And I can tell you that, it's, we just got to learn to understand we're all human and we make mistakes, but let's cut to the chase, shall we? Cue the fable, and after the fable will come the rant. I tacked right onto it. And thank you for sticking with it, and thank you for being a virtual truck driver for my company if you are one of my virtual truck drivers. Also, I appreciate those who subscribe and watch the videos, and by all means, it's not just the subscribers that make a difference, it's also the viewers. Give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a comment, whatever you're wanting to do. You look through my videos. In general, I'm not doing too bad. Although more subscriptions and certainly more views would help. And I know the videos this week, the last couple of weeks, especially this last week with it being holiday week and all crazy and stuff. Definitely an oddball situation. And so easy to make mistakes and stuff as a human. I really do hope you enjoy the entire video and have enjoyed the video up until this point. I really appreciate all y'all taking the time to watch these all the way through. And I'm not at all trying to blow my channel up, but let me explain this. If I were in it for the money, I know how to make my channel go viral. I know how to make it go hog wild and get a lot of money and all this and all that. You know, college and insurance and licensing, and I can mention all that stuff in every one of my videos. Every one of them, monetize, make a lot of money. We're talking like $200 per 1,000 views. That is about 20 cents of, no, it's about 2 cents per view. But no, like, you know, I can easily make it a big channel, but I don't. I really do appreciate you all for routinely watching my videos and leaving stuff down there in that dirt pit. Certainly helps. You know, more seeds planted, the merrier. Kind of in a winter month, waiting period and all that of everything to go through and all that, and I just really, you know, in the aviation industry they call it a holding pattern. That's kind of what I mean, is a holding pattern. And I'm not meaning to sound depressed or anything, but you all really do keep me going. You all, you know, y'all really do keep me in a good frame of mind, and I keep in mind every time I turn this camera on, knowing factually I'll be uploading the video, that I really do my best to keep my language clean. I really do. And yes, every once in a while, one slips. Like one did. Well, a few did in this entire video that's being put together for you all to watch. And I apologize. I'm not perfect. I made a few mistakes. But you know what? You're guilty of mistakes too. I could point out mistakes all around me all day, every day. But you know what? It wouldn't get me anywhere. It wouldn't make me happy. In fact, it would tick me off. So, you know, let's just be thankful. And I really do hope you enjoy this little fable. And remember, no amount of money is going to fix an issue. None. I'm not at all going to say much further. I'm just, you know, cue the video and enjoy it. Thank you. Okay, so I got kind of a longer version of an old fable. Yeah, you know them old fables where there's a moral to the story and all that? And I understand that this is not fully a true story. It is meant with the intent of being a fable. It is true, however, that I did live out in the country and that I did live out in an area where there were skunks, squirrels, deer, porcupines, and everyone had to coexist. Well, this is where I'm gonna do an analogy here for you as a fable. So I'm out, Dad's smoking his cigarette, and I'm out feeding, and I come back. I had this inkling of a suspicion that I needed to go through the back door. And the funny part here is going to come, okay? So I'm looking out in the distance from the back door. I see a coyote, which yes, we had those as well in our area. I see out in the distance a coyote chasing down a squirrel. Well, I'm looking around and there's Mr. Porcupine and there's Mrs. Skunk with the whole family. So I'm watching this and I see the squirrel do the old switcheroo with Mama Skunk. And this young gunner coyote, clearly a yearling, he's chasing what he believes is still the squirrel. Well, at one point, the skunk starts stomping the back feet. And here comes Mr. Porcupine upwind. And that coyote is just about to bite down on that skunk when that skunk let her rip. Not one spray, but two. And then, as that coyote went to wheel around and run away, he meets Mr. Porcupine, tail first. Runs right smack into him. And he's about to go the other direction, and there's Mr. Skunk. Well, Mr. Skunk unleashed on him. Next thing that coyote knows, he is reeking. And has quills to show for his stupidity on top of the reeking. Anyways, that right there, there's a lesson to be learned there. Don't be so focused on the prize that you'll that you lose sight of what your eyes can see. Never take your eyes off that prize, but at the same time, pay attention. Make sure you're not chasing the skunk instead of the squirrel. And there's several other hints in there. Don't piss off nature because nature's good entertainment. I got couple more I do have some true stories for later. We had goats and sheep and a deer problem. That's another story for another day. Y'all have a good one.